Hi, and welcome to our jAZZ and Tap live streaming. My name is Boni de Souza, and we have a wonderful setup here with some wonderful musicians collaborating with me on this program, jAZZ and Tap, with just jazz jive. But first, let's put you in the mood. One, two, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. It gives me great pleasure to present to you our resident tap dancer, Alexander Sia. All right. All right, Alexander. All right, let me introduce you now to everybody. All right, of course, we have our resident tap dancer with us who's going to co-present with me, Alexandria. And we have a wonderful drummer, Nick Osman on drums, and also our awesome bass player here. We have Iggy Bong on bass. Iggy Bong on bass, yeah? All right, can you see Iggy Bong? Okay. All right.
Hello, everybody. Very good afternoon to all. Thank you so much for tuning in. My name is Alex, and we're just introduced by our band leader, Boni de Souza. We're pleased to be sharing something very interesting called tap dance and jazz music. And incidentally, tap dance has come a long way. It's almost 100 years old since the birth of tap dance, all the way back in the American colonies. But before that, it happened, the forefathers of tap dance was actually from Africa. So when African slaves were brought to the Americas, they brought along their rhythms on their feet and drums. And then merging with their Irish colleagues, they have created even more interesting patterns of playing rhythms with their feet. And when cities came out, that's where the fun starts. But before that, we're going to go to feature a little bit more about how the influence of African music had on the evolution of tap dance. And then we're going to feature a little bit what one of the rhythm dance, and it was called gumboot dance. So we're going to show you
Alex,
just a little bit.
Okay, I will share with them, allow me to share with them about the origins of the African rhythms, right? Okay, now the tap dance, although originating in America, it had a confluence of different elements. Yeah, a confluence of different elements from East and West, from Africa, from America, and from Europe. Okay, so this combination makes it such a unique art form. And we have the rhythms come from the African villages. And just imagine. We'd like you to take a moment and go back. Close your eyes and imagine. The villagers are getting ready for the hunt. They're prepared the night before, psych themselves up in the morning, the village elders and the tribal chiefs, and they're ready for the hunt. Of Africa for you. All right, we'd like to move on now with how tap dance began in America, and Alex is going to introduce one of the most famous, the legendary tap dancer. Over to you, Alex.
Yeah, and interestingly, tap and jazz grew about the same time, the early 1900s. And when cities came up in Americas, the tap, what you call the African rhythms were brought to the city, and merging with all the construction and the rhythms of the new modern city, tap dance moved a step further, and then it was actually the forefather of all street dances. And tap dance was learned on the streets, not in nice air-conditioned studios like we have nowadays, but everything was learned on the streets. We have something called the tap challenge, where tap dancers would challenge each other. You call it the face-off, the tap-off, where who is the better dancer would be determined by the cheers or boos from the audience. And with all these challenges, people were stealing and borrowing steps, or even just respecting, borrowing the steps, respecting the original and add on to something new. And all these help in the evolution of tap dance. And we fast forward a little bit, and we have a very notable dancer during the early 1900s. His name was Mr. Bojangles, and he was the first African-American tap dance star.